Hello everyone, the Snowman here, and today I've got part 3 of a video series where I'm looking back at all the past FIFA World Cups. Today I'm looking at the 2010 World Cup. I'll be going over things like the host nation, how the group stage panned out, the knockout stage, all the awards, golden boot, golden ball, best match of the tournament, best goal. So things like that. I'm going to try to recap each World Cup as best I can in 5 to 10 minutes. And today, this is my snapshot of the 2010 FIFA World Cup. And the host nation in 2010 was South Africa, first World Cup ever to take place on African soil. We've had World Cups in North, South America, of course Europe and Asia as well, but a very unique vibe to this event. Shakira had the anthem of the tournament in Waka Waka, and the Vuvuzelas were out in full force across 10 host stadiums, including the picturesque Soccer City Stadium in Johannesburg. Pulling up the 8 groups now, these are the group stage results. The hosts got the party started with an iconic bang. South Africa versus Mexico, scoreless at the half, but in the 55th minute, Sifui Shabalala rifled the ball in the back of the net to send his nation and his continent into a frenzy. Unfortunately for them, Mexico found a late equalizer, ended up advancing alongside Uruguay, and their powerful attacking triumvirate in Diego Forlan, Luis Suarez, and Edison Cavani, South Africa became the first host nation ever to be eliminated in the group stage. And it was disappointment for France as well. They had all sorts of internal problems, mutiny even. Striker Nicolas Anelka was sent home before the tournament even ended, and they were skipping practices due to feuds with the manager. Just an embarrassing summer for the French. Argentina then eased by in Group B, although it wasn't the best tournament for a 23-year-old Lionel Messi. He had 0 goals this World Cup. However, Gonzalo Higuain picked up the slack with a hat-trick versus South Korea, the Koreans finishing in second. In Group C, the first match was England versus the USA, and the Americans were the beneficiary of an absolute howler by English keeper Robert Green. Those two countries tied on that day, and after coming back from down 2-0 to draw Slovenia, the U.S. had some ultimate drama on match day number 3. Needing a win versus Algeria to advance, it was still scoreless in stoppage time, but Tim Howard threw an outlet pass to Landon Donovan. He then passes to Altidore, crossed into Clint Dempsey, shot blocked, and Donovan with the rebound goal in the 91st minute, probably the biggest goal of his illustrious career. First time the United States won their group since 1930. England undefeated and advancing as well. Germany and Ghana were the best from Group D. The Germans put on a clinic, their first game smashing Australia 4-0. Their youngster Thomas Muller, one of the breakout stars of South Africa 2010. Not the finest tournament for Timmy Cahill and the Aussies, as he was sent off with a red card in that opening match. And then a perfect 3-for-3 for the Netherlands in Group E. This was a very explosive squad for the Dutch, with the likes of Robin van Persie, Dirk Kuyt, Wesley Sneijder, just to name a few. Japan won the decisive match for second place in Group E, 3-1 versus Denmark. Keisuke Honda with a pretty free kick goal that game, the second time the Japanese advanced out of the group stage. And I thought Group F was the most interesting in terms of competitiveness. You have the ultimate underdogs in New Zealand, the worst odds of all 32 teams to win the entire competition, but they stood their ground. Draws in all 3 matches, including a 1-1 tie against Slovakia, where Winston Reid leveled the score with a header in the 93rd minute. A magical moment there for the All Whites. Unfortunately for Italy, the defending World Cup champions from 2006, they just never got off the starting blocks this event. Still had many world-class players and leadership, but they just looked slow. And Paraguay and Slovakia, the unlikely victors from Group E. And we always know there's one group that's anointed as the group of death. In 2010, that was Group G. You had the title favorites, Brazil, Cristiano, and Portugal, and a golden generation for Didier Drogba and Ivory Coast. The Ivorians were outclassed versus Brazil, though. Luis Fabiano and that Brazilian attack cut through their feeble defense, and the Portuguese delivered one of the most lopsided World Cup scorelines of all time with a 7-0 massacre over Northern Korea. Finally, in Group H, play began with a colossal shock. Switzerland defeating Spain 1-0 behind a goal from Gelson Fernandez. Uncharacteristic mistakes from La Roja that game, just their second loss in 49 matches. But the Spanish got their groove back against Honduras and Chile. David Villa doing most of the scoring for a loaded team that featured Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Iker Casillas, and more. Also, Chile defeated the Swiss 1-0 to make it 5-5, with South American teams advancing to the knockout stage. And here is that knockout stage bracket. Something for everyone in the round of 16. Luis Suarez bagged a brace to help Uruguay down South Korea 2-1. Donovan saved the USA's bacon again with an equalizer versus Ghana, but the Americans' problem all tournament was conceding early, and at the start of extra time they were put to the sword by Asamoah Gyan and Ghana off a lightning-quick counterattack. Also in the round of 16, a heaping helping of controversy. Germany and Argentina both winning comfortably, but advancing via some questionable calls. Germany was up 2-1 against England when English midfielder Frank Lampard crushed the shot off the crossbar and over the goal line. However, the referees missed the goal, play continued, and England was wrongly not given the goal, which would have tied things up. Then in Argentina-Mexico, the Argentines scored their first goal through Carlos Tevez, who was clearly, unequivocally a good 3 yards offsides. The referees blowing another call there. So Germany and Argentina both moved on, but those moments would be vital in future implementation of technology like automatic goal line technology and video assistant referee or VAR. Also, Paraguay reached their first ever quarterfinals after a penalty win over Japan, and Spain began their knockout round with a 1-0 win over Portugal, their first of 4 consecutive 1-0 wins, all 4 goals coming in the second half or extra time. Spain didn't have a sexy attack this tournament like Uruguay or Brazil or the Dutch, but they wore teams down late in games with their possession style and their tiki-taka play. Then in the quarterfinals, we were given the game of the tournament, in my opinion, a World Cup classic, Uruguay versus Ghana. First time these two sides have ever met. And the lone African team went up late in the first half through a Sully Montari snipe from 40 yards out. Then moments later, though, in the 55th minute, Diego Forlan answered for Uruguay with a breathtaking free kick goal. Just a clinically struck, world-class shot from the South American talisman. More back and forth action ensued. The game was destined for extra time, and honestly, in extra time, Ghana may have been the slightly better side. They had a couple more chances, but in the 121st minute, so just seconds away from penalties, Ghana was about to score a goal when Uruguayan forward Luis Suarez intentionally blocked a rebound shot with his hand. He was immediately given a red card, thrown out of the game, and Ghana given a penalty. But it was the only thing he could have done to keep his team in the game, and the Suarez miracle paid off. Asamoah Gyan smacked the ensuing penalty off the crossbar to keep Uruguay's hopes alive. And some people call it cheating what Suarez did. I call it a stroke of genius, though, because his team went on to win in penalties then 4-2. And even though Suarez was sacrificed for the semifinals with his red card suspension, without his actions, it would have been the Ghanaians moving on. Also in the quarters, the Netherlands came back to upset Kaká and Brazil. Too much flair and flavor from the Inter Milan man Wesley Sneijder. Germany demolished Argentina, and Spain won again to set up our Final Four. Spain met Germany in a rematch of the Euro 2008 final just a couple summers prior. And although the Germans had the goal-scoring touch heading into the matchup, no Muller due to suspension. They lacked creativity, and Spain dominated possession per usual. They wore their opponents down, and their leader and center-back Carlos Puyol scoring the winner off a corner kick in the 73rd minute. The other semifinal was more free-flowing, the Netherlands going up early on Uruguay through the best goal I have ever seen. Giovanni van Bronckhorst pummeling the ball from 35 yards out, kissing it off the far post and going in. I really mean it when I say best goal I've ever seen. Goal of the tournament for sure, one for the history books. I like Gareth Bale's goal in the Champions League final. Mandzukic had a great bike in the Champions League as well, but this goal by Van Bronckhorst just had the perfect rise on it. It was a flawless firecracker, and I could never get tired of watching that. Sneijder and Robben added second half goals too, so the Netherlands win 3-2, and that set up the final, which guaranteed a brand new World Cup champ. Spain versus Netherlands, the first final without a former winner since 1978. And to be honest, the final was a match that lacked rhythm. 14 yellow cards given out in total, 9 for the Dutch, a bit of an ugly, scrappy contest. Not the usual total football we're accustomed to seeing from Holland. A game of few chances, but minutes after Dutch defender John Heitinga received his marching orders with a second yellow in extra time, Andres Iniesta finished off a hectic counterattack with a side volley that squeaked past keeper Martin Stecklenburg, the winner for Spain in the 116th minute. And that led to the first World Cup title ever for Spain. Of course, they sandwiched it with back-to-back Euros titles in 2008 and 2012. Vincent Del Bosque's men, actually the fewest goals ever for a World Cup champion. They only scored 8 goals all tournament, but it was enough. That final also the first time a European nation ever won a World Cup outside of Europe. And taking a look at the individual awards, the Golden Boot, 4 players were tied for the most goals with 5, but it was 20-year-old Thomas Muller who won the Golden Boot thanks to his 3 assists as the tiebreaker. The Golden Ball award given to the best player of the tournament, that was Diego Forlan. Too many jaw-dropping free kicks and long-range bombs for him. Young player Thomas Muller again, and the best goalkeeper was Iker Casillas. Alright, so what will I remember most about the 2010 World Cup? The Spanish dominance, particularly in possession. That midfield engine was overpowering, and Iniesta's winner in the final. Also, the brilliance of Diego Forlan for Uruguay, Wesley Sneijder for the Netherlands. I'm also going to remember the big moment, Luis Suarez and his hand of God, blocking the shot, getting the red card, but helping his team go through to the semifinals. I'll also always remember Sifawi Shabalala and his opening match goal, the first World Cup goal ever scored on the continent of Africa. Ghana, their run to the quarterfinals, making all Africans proud. And as an American, I will never forget Landon Donovan's heroics as well, particularly against Algeria and the equalizer against Ghana. But it was a great World Cup. I think I watched just about every single minute of this World Cup, so happy to say I did. And this is my snapshot for the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. Please leave a comment. Let me know if I missed out any big moments or players that you want to give a shout out to. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please check out my other World Cup rewinds as well. Subscribe to Snowman Sports Media for more soccer content. I'll be back very soon. Thanks a lot. Cheers.